Hello and welcome to today's episode. We're going to be talking about the biggest thing that attracts your ideal man into your life and keeps him wanting more. So you're going to love this. I've discussing an interview with Paul Brunson. He's a world-renowned matchmaker and relationship expert, and he brings up some really interesting points that women really need to pay attention to this when you're seeking your ideal relationship. Hey, my name is Michelle Chung and I'm a live manifestation expert, which means I help women manifest their soulmate live in person, offline. And I help career-driven A-type alpha women find their man so they can have the amazing, committed and effortless relationship they deserve. So I was listening to this episode of another podcast, which I love. It's called A Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. And a friend had mentioned that he'd recently done an episode with a top relationship expert. And I had to listen to this episode. And I just love listening to podcasts. And I always get a lot of content and a lot of ideas from listening to business podcasts. I'm very much an entrepreneur. And I just loved this idea that Stephen has like so many different guests of many different expertise and very many different industries. So I was listening to this episode and so many things stuck out for me, but I really wanted to record this episode, especially about this one thing that Paul had brought up regarding relationships. So basically, when we're growing up, we try so hard to fit in, right? When you're an adolescent, you're a teenager, and you try to blend in with your friendship group in your school and not stick out for fear of being ostracized and cast out from the safety of your community or friendship group, right? Yet this is the very thing that stops us from attracting the right people into our lives. This idea that we are trying to fit in and try to, be part of the group and not stick out, right? So this is actually now hurting your chances of meeting a soulmate. Because if you're like always trying to blend in and try to be like everyone else and do what everyone else is doing, and everyone else is following the same bad advice, this is actually something that is stopping you and hurting your chances of attracting the right man into your life. So the right way, I suppose, to do it is that you really need to discover who you are and be completely comfortable with yourself and value your individuality in order to attract your soulmate into your life. So in the interview, Paul talks about self-esteem. So this is something I've also come across with some of my coachees, talking about raising the self-esteem, and I work on this in my online program as well. I have some exercises that help you raise your self-esteem, because this is a topic that not a lot of people talk about in terms of dating, in terms of like if you see dating advice, in terms of online dating. It's kind of there, but it's kind of in the background, and it's never really talked about and discussed in how it actually affects dating and attracting the right people into your life. So self-esteem, what is it actually? Self-esteem is your overall sense of personal value and self-worth. So you could have an overly high self-esteem, which is not a good thing either, which is feeling superior to others. And people with this overly high self-esteem could come across as very arrogant and self-indulgent and be feeling, expressing themselves as being entitled, right? On the opposite spectrum, someone with low self-esteem is someone who's constantly feeling inferior to others. So always measuring themselves up to other people, and using other people as the benchmark instead of looking towards themselves and feeling comfortable and okay within yourself. And the last group of people, which is the ideal, is to have a healthy amount of self-esteem. So this is actually having a very accurate and balanced self-view. So it's the way that you view yourself, the way that you acknowledge yourself and your awareness of yourself. So that's why they always say, you need to work on yourself before you go into a relationship. It's important to work on your own personal growth and your development before trying to be in a relationship, because that relationship is not going to fix your problems. They actually magnify, and you attract what I call a dependent relationship, or what actually I've borrowed this concept from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the dependent relationship. So I also teach a concept called the love journey, and you can see the training on my website as well, the love journey. And it's moving from dependent relationships towards independence and becoming magnetic me, which I call someone who has worked on herself or himself and discovered all the incredible, unique things that make you stand out, that you are comfortable in your own skin. And actually, that is the most attractive thing, and attracts the right guy. Okay, so moving from dependent relationships of needing somebody to fulfill you, needing someone to make you feel happy, needing someone else to make you feel that sense of self-esteem and value, that someone else values you if you're in a relationship together. You need to move away from that and become independent and become that magnetic me. So the best kinds of relationships that I've seen are when 2 people come together who have the same healthy self-esteem, and they come together in that interdependent relationship. And that's part of the love journey model that I teach, and you can see that on my website. So what that means is that both parties in the relationship are happy and healthy, and I say yin and yang, or masculine, feminine, feminine, masculine. Yin is feminine, yang is masculine. It's balanced within each person, male or female, before coming into the relationship. So often I talk about heterosexual relationships. Also happens with same-sex couples as well. Everyone has a masculine and feminine. So what is the work exactly that you need to do on yourself? So raising your self-esteem is one of them, and that's what I'm talking about in this episode. And in my online program, we actually do an exercise to recognize all the amazing things and experiences you've already had, and then apply this feeling to your love life. So this helps you raise your vibration, gives you hope, as well as increasing your self-esteem, that, you know, hey, you got so many things to be proud of and value within yourself, so that you can value it enough to offer it to somebody else in an interdependent relationship. Hopefully this all makes sense. So I guess in the past, too often, maybe in our mother's generation, women just wanted to be in a relationship to feel safe, secure, looked after. Women in that generation didn't have the ability to make their own money and to be financially secure or independent, right? And they just did what they were told. They followed this system. And it seems to me, the more I speak to my friends and about their mothers, the state of their mothers' relationships now, that there's this whole generation of women who followed this system and don't have the self-esteem to, find a new path in life. The kids are grown up, not needing their mothers anymore. And it's almost as if this whole generation of women, their lives have just stopped after their kids and families have grown up. They don't know what to do, and they're just sitting around almost as if waiting to die. So it's this generation of women who haven't been instilled this self-esteem and valuing yourself for not just what you do for your family and for your children and your husband, but valuing yourself for who you are, the spiritual soul that you are in this human body, having this human experience on earth. We've never been taught this kind of way, and especially not in our mother's generation. So now that we have our own careers in our modern lives, we're often actually more financially stable than our parents or even potential partners. We might even make more money than men these days, especially the ones that you may attract into your life. Because we don't need this financial safety net anymore. So when we make much more money than potential partners, then why do we need that relationship? Because now we're not following our mother's generation's strategy. So not for financial gain, but what about for emotional safety, psychological safety net in a relationship? That's often what women look for now as well, to feel that someone's there for me. And these are absolutely okay and amazing. But we need to also have that ability to provide that emotional, psychological safety net for ourselves and be independent and magnetic in that way. So in doing that, it's all about like doing that inner work, raising your self-esteem, finding the confidence in yourself and valuing all those things within you that we need to highlight and almost like market or sell it to somebody else. Because if we don't even see it within ourselves, how can we show that to somebody else? Normally people are so wrapped up in your own stuff, you're not going to recognize how shining and bright and amazing somebody else is unless if you bring that to the table and you value that within yourself, right? So then the key is, if we don't need men for financial stability, security, we don't need men for emotional stability or security, then why do we want to be in a relationship? And so the key is that you want to be in a relationship, not because you need a relationship. And this is the difference between a dependent and interdependent relationship, and also the difference between just another relationship and meeting your soulmate. Okay? So no one needs to be in a relationship these days unless it's that dependent style. And we've discussed that it doesn't work anymore. So that is why self-esteem is so attractive. Because when you want to be in a relationship, you don't need to justify all the reasons why you need something. So this is a really important concept I was reading in a book called 10x is easier than 2x. It's another business book. I just love it. Just blew my mind. But it talks about the idea of having really big goals. So having meeting your soulmate and not just, being in any relationship. So when you strive for and desire for that really big goal, maybe it's you've never had a soulmate before. Maybe you've never had a great relationship before, but wanting that and not simply going for second best of like, I just need to be with somebody. It completely changes your mindset of who you need to become, the actions that you need to take in order to manifest that right soulmate for you. Hopefully that's making sense. So again, why is self-esteem so attractive? So self-esteem is attractive because it actually negates the need to seek external approval from society, from your friends, from family, right? Because you are confident in that the one that you choose for yourself, your partner, is the right one. You don't need the validation of saying, oh, they look good together when they walk down the street, or, that people judging him on his looks or his, financial assets or things like that, that you don't actually care about all those external things, that you actually see the value within him and he sees the value within you as well. And so when you can confidently make good decisions for your own life, you're actually really happy and satisfied with your choices, and you don't really care about having that external validation, which comes with low self-esteem and constantly needing approval from others, right? That dependent style of person or dependent style of relationship. And the funny thing is, often you might see, and you might be one of them, women who constantly ask their girlfriends about, this guy or that guy, or have a lot of drama and have a lot of, stuff to talk about, this seemingly unsolvable problems and, we tried this and tried that and things just never work, right? And this could also be a front for creating drama and never actually wanting a proper solution, because you thrive off that drama. And hence why a lot of people, get addicted to like soap operas and soap dramas, right? It's that drama that is just creating a lot of activity, but never actually solving the real issue, what's really the root cause and the root problem, right? So when you have a healthy self-esteem, you've already fulfilled yourself, you're confident with your choices, and you don't need to constantly discuss minor issues with everyone outside of that relationship that should actually be solved within your relationship with your partner directly anyway, right? And self-esteem is so attractive because it also shows that you're on your own journey And everyone loves a good road trip or a great experience, right? Everyone wants to be part of a cause or part of a movement. And so a man with healthy self-esteem is super attractive to women because naturally women want to be taken on a journey, want to see some movement and be inspired by her partner. And as I refer back a lot to Chinese medicine, that movement indicates life. It indicates vitality, tenacity, this movement, whereas lack of movement or stagnation or being stuck, you don't want to be with a guy who's always stuck in his life or complaining, right? This is not the kind of person that you would be attracted to because they would naturally have a low self-esteem. So if a man shows that he has that tenacity, that energy, and is following his life purpose, and he's uncovered that within himself, he's done the work, and he makes himself available to the right woman, and he's confident when he chooses his soulmate, isn't that super attractive? You want to be that woman that he chooses, right? But in order for him to choose you as the right woman, you've also got to have a healthy self-esteem and be successful in your life, whether it be your career. It doesn't matter so much about how much money you're making, but that you're happy in your life, that you're balanced in your feminine energy. And men are really attracted to that feminine energy, as I've spoken of before, because it's that nurturing kindness and caring that they don't really have in their masculine energy. So they want to be with a complementary energy and not somebody who's too much like them. So she's become like a total catch because she doesn't rely on him and she's not needy, but she chooses him as well. And that makes him feel really special. So a woman who has it all and chooses her partner because she doesn't need him, but wants him in her life, that is irresistible. And so your high self-esteem is going to authentically reveal to the world how much you value yourself and your purpose on earth. It's actually like your spirit self is really coming through. And that is the real uniqueness and individuality that is irresistible, that will attract your soulmate into your life. And not the humanness, this mask of ego, this negativity that actually confuses people, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So hopefully you took away something from this episode, that raising your self-esteem is one of the best things that you can do to attract your soulmate into your life. And if you're interested in my program, you can go check out my free training that teaches you a little bit more about this. It's called the 3 Steps to Meet Your Soulmate. I'll put the link on the description below. And if you have any questions, make sure you send me a message on Instagram. It's at Michelle Chung Coach. And I look forward to any of your comments or any other questions. If you have any other topics or ideas or questions that you would like me to speak about, please send me a DM as well. And I look forward to chatting with you. So have an awesome day.